podcast show.
Hey everybody, I'm Rich Myers and welcome to the Rich Myers podcast show. Here tonight I'm with Mark Modarelli. How you been?
Doing all right, man. Thanks for having me.
I was listening to your track, Vanity of Wishes. It was pretty good. What influenced it?
That one, the poem actually, my primary career for years has been an English teacher, literature at university and high school level, and so studied a lot of different texts and then did music on the side. And so there's a poem called The Vanity of Human Wishes by a guy named Samuel Johnson from the 18th century. And he was actually imitating a guy who'd written one in ancient Rome, Juvenal, about those issues of, what do we chase? And some of the lyrics in that one in particular are, again, the song just kind of came from me and came from my memory of some lines from that song that sort of fit in. And so it's sort of a tribute to that piece and a sort of reinvention of it. So Johnson, when he was writing in the 18th century, was sort of reinventing it for his era. And it just inspired me to do a song on the same thing. What are we chasing in life? Why are we chasing it? What do we really value? And what do we leave behind? So it's kind of came from there, that one.
Okay, well, let's take a listen.
Pop-ups, posters, and promotions. Promise peace lies in possessions. At least that's what they always seem to advertise. The more we get, the more we worry over losing. Find the dangers gather as the treasures rise.
Okay, it was a pretty good song.
Thanks. I had to pick up my guitar and play along just because I instinctively do. So.
Can you tell me about upcoming songs, concerts, and what
Yeah, so
dates?
I'm mostly focusing on practicing playing live. I started back in, so I was a drummer originally, played in bands in high school and college, then moved to vocals and bass guitar. And then I got to life, having kids and doing that stuff. I was always sort of playing on the side, but it really wasn't until COVID till I started getting really back into it and found something like GarageBand and realized, wow, you can put together music now in ways you just couldn't before. And um, so I'm really focusing on practicing to perform live, start playing some gigs and stuff. Just learning how to use the technology to do that. And I'm self-taught on everything other than drums and vocals. So just been working on that primarily. I got a few things in the pipeline. But I was really productive for the last few years, and I just need to start getting out playing gigs. So that's kind of where I've been focusing right now.
Would you agree that it is very important to learn, study, and understand old music and music history?
Oh, absolutely. But I've spent my life in the education system trying to teach kids that for a long time about all kinds of history, right? You have to understand and appreciate. I spoke at graduation a few weeks ago back, and I was talking to the kids about, we spend so much time worried about why things aren't better in our society that we don't stop and think about why they aren't any worse, right? Like, what is it that made us have things as good as we do? And a lot of it is our art, our musicians, um, our philosophy, the religious underpinnings, the fact that people were thinking. One of the things, I don't know if you caught my ad, one of my things is, music should mean something, really should. And I've got a couple videos out where I did sort of a literary analysis of lyrics from classic songs, whether it was obviously like Stairway to Heaven and Don't Fear the Reaper and things like that, and look at those and understand and appreciate uh, the complexity of that work. I think it's essential. But the cool thing about music too, Rich, is that um, there's so many bands. Like, I'm a huge fan of a guy by the name of Martin Zeller. He was in a band called the Gear Daddies, and simple songwriter. I mean, not a simple songwriter, but just raw, pure energy feeling. There's so many great bands that aren't necessarily part of the popular history. And, musicians all know this. They all have bands that nobody else really knows about. And there's amazing talents out there. But to understand and appreciate that history, and not to be intimidated by it either. I think one of the things that hung me up for a while was, everyone thinks you got to be different. And you do to a certain extent, but it's not happening in a vacuum. And an appreciation for the work of people that went before. And I've been reading a lot of biographies of musicians lately and stuff. I've just been finding that really interesting to see that other side of things. And you look at the people. I mean, you look at bands like Rush, REM. One of the things I like about those, and you think about musical history, is those bands that said, we're going to do what we're doing. And especially now, by the way, it's a great question. It's because of the music industry and what's happened to it. And, these guys that were true to themselves, when they came to Rush and said, you don't do another concept album, you got to do something popular. And they go ahead and do 2112, which is like, the whole side of concept album. And then that puts them on the map, and they're true to who they were. REM did the same thing, stayed together and did their thing and made it big. Those kinds of things are worth remembering, because so much great music is even about the music industry itself and what you're asked to do and compromising. And so, yeah, I mean, we all need a lot more historical awareness, Rich, right now. I think I think you're spot on with that one.
Where can people go and see your videos, music, and events?
Yeah, Mark Mod Music markmod.org. You can reach me at markmod music. I'm on all the streaming platforms, Mark Modarelli. Yeah, you can check out my stuff. Like I said, I haven't been really practicing up to play live, so I've got a few things in the pipeline, but haven't produced stuff in a little while yet. But I'm just trying to get the word out. And yeah, and just follow me on Facebook, Mark Bob Music, Instagram, all those places you can find me. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for being on the show today. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thanks a lot for giving me a listen and giving me an opportunity.